Imagine this, it's 1938. The world is on the brink of war. The Great Depression still lingers, and people are desperate for a hero. They're about to get one. Not in real life, but on the brightly colored pages of a 10-cent comic book. This is the story of Action Comics #1, the comic that didn't just introduce a character, it ignited a cultural phenomenon and gave birth to the entire superhero genre. Before we dive into the explosive debut of Superman, let's set the stage. The 1930s were the golden age of pulp magazines. Heroes like Doc Savage and the Shadow captivated audiences with their daring adventures, but they were, for the most part, human. Exceptionally skilled, yes, but still bound by the laws of physics. The comic book landscape was mostly filled with humor, strips, and adventure stories. No one had ever seen anything quite like what was coming. Entered two young dreamers from Cleveland, Ohio, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. These two friends were obsessed with science fiction, pulp heroes, and the idea of creating something truly new. They spent years brainstorming, sketching, and refining their character. Their initial concepts were all over the place. At one point, their Superman was a bald, telepathic villain bent on world domination. Thankfully, they didn't stick with that idea. They kept reworking the concept, drawing inspiration from mythological figures like Hercules and Samson, and even from movie stars like Douglas Fairbanks, known for his acrobatic stunts. They wanted a hero who was the ultimate champion of the oppressed, a symbol of hope. They settled on a new origin, a baby from a dying planet, sent to Earth and granted incredible powers by our yellow sun. They named him Superman, but getting him published was a battle worthy of the hero himself. For 5 long years, Siegel and Shuster faced rejection after rejection. Publishers just didn't get it. A man who can leap tall buildings in a single bound, faster than a speeding bullet? It was too outlandish, too unbelievable. The duo almost gave up hope, with Shuster at one point burning their early concepts out of frustration, though Siegel managed to save the cover. Then, a new comic book line called Action Comics was being put together by National Allied Publications, the company that would later become DC Comics. They needed a lead story for their first issue, and they needed it fast. An editor, Sheldon Meyer, stumbled upon Siegel and Shuster's rejected Superman strips. He saw the potential that everyone else had missed. He passionately pitched it to his boss, who was still skeptical but desperate for content. They bought the rights to Superman for a mere $130. $130. That single transaction would go on to be worth billions. And so, in April of 1938, Action Comics #1 hit the newsstands, and on its cover was an image that would become iconic. A man in a blue costume with a red cape and an S on his chest, effortlessly lifting a green car over his head as terrified gangsters flee. This wasn't just a drawing, it was a statement. Here was a power unlike any seen before, a force for good that criminals could not stop. Inside, readers were introduced to the Man of Steel. The story was raw, fast-paced, and packed with action. In just 13 pages, we see Superman's alien origin, his incredible strength, his bulletproof skin, and his commitment to justice. He wasn't just fighting aliens or supervillains yet. His first adventures were surprisingly grounded. He stops a wife-beater, saves an innocent woman from the electric chair, and intimidates a lobbyist who is trying to drag America into war. He was a social crusader, a champion for the common person. The public reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Action Comics #1 was a runaway success. Kids were mesmerized. Here was a hero who could do anything, a perfect fantasy to escape the harsh realities of the time. The initial print run of 200,000 copies sold out almost instantly. Soon, the comic was selling over 1 million copies a month. Superman wasn't just a character, he was a sensation. This success sent shockwaves through the publishing industry. Every other company scrambled to create their own version of Superman. This led to a creative explosion. In 1939, just a year later, another publisher introduced a dark, mysterious vigilante to fight crime in the shadows of Gotham City. Batman. Soon, the floodgates opened. Wonder Woman, Captain America, The Flash, Green Lantern. The entire pantheon of classic heroes was born in the years immediately following Superman's debut. The golden age of comic books had officially begun, all thanks to that one 10-cent book. Action Comics #1 didn't just create a genre. It created an archetype. The secret identity, the colorful costume, the extraordinary powers, the unwavering moral code, these became the building blocks for nearly every superhero that followed. Superman was the template. He established the very language of superhero storytelling. Think about the cultural impact. Superman quickly leaped from the comic page into radio shows, animated cartoons, and eventually live-action television and blockbuster movies. He became a global icon, a symbol of truth, justice, and the American way. He represented the best of humanity, even though he wasn't human. He was the ultimate immigrant story, someone who comes to a new land and uses his unique gifts to make it a better place. Today, original copies of Action Comics #1 are among the most sought-after collectibles in the world. With fewer than 100 believed to still exist, they sell for millions of dollars at auction. That's a pretty good return on a 10-cent investment. But its true value isn't monetary. Its value lies in the universe it created. Every time you watch a superhero movie, read a graphic novel, or see a child tie a towel around their neck and pretend to fly. You're re-seeing the legacy of Action Comics #1. It's the story of two young creators who refused to give up on their dream. It's the story of a character who embodied hope in a time of despair. And it's the story of the single spark that ignited the entire superhero age. A flame that continues to burn brightly over 80 years later. So the next time you see that iconic S-shield, remember where it all started, on a humble comic book cover, with a hero lifting a car, and, in the process, lifting the spirits of an entire generation. It was more than just a comic. It was the start of everything. Thanks for watching. If you love diving deep into the history of comics and pop culture, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video. Let me know in the comments who your favorite Golden Age hero is. See you next time.